Hi everyone, it's Danny. Welcome back to another design team layout for Cocoa Vanilla Studio. Today I'm continuing to use the amazing new No Limits collection. I have a couple of really cute photos of my son having built some of his little airplane models that he is obsessed with at the moment. So I really wanted to use this collection to document this because the colors just match the colorful building materials he's using, and also because there's a lot of kind of aeronautical themes, or I suppose more like space themes, but there's rocket ships and space and air kind of themes, I guess, for lack of a better word, in this collection. So I just thought it was really appropriate. So I've just started by cutting out some strips of pattern paper. I used the one of the cut aparts, the long strips off that. Now I'm going through the A5 paper stack and just cutting out a variety of different lengths and widths of different pattern papers. I'm trying to stick with fairly solid patterns and just throwing in a couple of really colorful busy patterns here and there. So that diagonal stripe, that's off the cut apart, and then I've got another stripe that is just kind of straight up and down, and then that dark blue kind of night sky space pattern is a little bit more busy as well, but that's okay. I'm just trying to kind of vary things up, and now I'm going through and distressing all the edges of those strips with my edge distresser. You can use a pair of scissors. That's what I used to use before I got an edge distresser. These are just less likely to tear your paper. But the good thing about Cocoa Vanilla Studio paper is it's nice and thick. It's a really nice, robust, sturdy paper, so it's definitely not going to tear easily. Right, so I went ahead and did most of those off camera, so you didn't have to sit through all of that. Now I'm going to stick my photos together. I have a pretty good idea of how I want to do this layout, so I did start to adhere things down pretty early on, just because I really knew what I wanted to do, where things were going, and I wanted to kind of just make it easier on myself and not have things move around. So I am starting to stick my strips down. My photos are going to go pretty much there. And I'm trying to vary the heights of these strips so they're not all going to be sitting equal to each other. And I'm having a bit of an issue with my tacky glue. I'm not sure why. In my little fine liner bottle, for some reason, it's gone quite tacky. It's almost like it's dried. That's never happened before. Whether I just didn't have the lid on right or what, but usually once I get it going, it works fine, but this time I just was really struggling to get it out. So you do watch me struggle with that bottle for quite a while before I pull out the big bottle. Apologies for that. I was just really determined to make it work, but it wasn't happening for me. I wanted to make that stripy piece a bit longer, so I just snipped it in the middle where it's going to sit behind my photo anyway. I just brought my photo over to make sure that it was going to cover up that gap, and it does just fine. Okay, so now that I've got most of the way across on the left-hand side, I'm starting to come in from the right-hand side now, and this is just because I want my paper strips to overlay each other coming in from the sides, and then my most central one will just be right on top. So this is just me being particular about my layering. It really doesn't matter. No one's going to notice, but some things we're kind of picky about. So now I've finally pulled out my big glue bottle, and you can see just staggering the tops and the bottoms of those paper strips so they're all different heights and lengths, and just keeps things interesting. All right, I realized at this point I didn't have quite enough paper, so I've come in with another paper strip, another yellow off one of the 12 by 12 sheets. So I've just cut that to size and distressed it again off camera. And now I'm adding just a couple of the little offcuts I had off to the sides because I had them there and I thought I may as well. So that diagonal stripe, and then I just wanted a bit more of that wood grain as well. So I pulled this one out, and I'll just distress that really quickly and glue it onto the right-hand side there. Lovely. All right, my photo is going to go pretty much right there. And now I'm pulling out a title. I use a nice big title. It takes up a lot of the space on the page. There's actually really minimal embellishment on this page, mainly because I have all those really busy pattern paper strips in the background, and they're all textured, so that adds even more interest. And I have that big title taking up a lot of space, so I really don't need to add a lot more once I've done that. So I'm just going to go ahead and stick down my photos with some double-sided tape, and now I'm adding on my title with some glue, quite a bit of glue. off to the side there, slightly overlapping my photos. And I'll come back into those, to the title. But first I want to add this little piece down here. I really love that it's a little rocket and it says unstoppable, which is definitely the case with my son. He's a force of nature. So now for my title, I'm just adding some white gel pen. This is the Uniball Signo Broad in white. It's just a really nice white gel pen. It doesn't tend to last too long. I do have to buy them pretty regularly, and they're not the cheapest, but they're really nice to write with. They work really well, and they're nice and opaque. So I'm just going ahead and adding some accents to those letters. This is totally something completely optional, something you only have to do if you really want to. I do it quite often. I just think it adds a little bit of a, unique element to your titles, something that you've added, hand-drawn. your own personal stamp. So now I'm adding a couple of accessory stickers. I like that banner that says life is good, and then I've just added a little tiny word sticker that says one of a kind, I think. Pretty sure that's what it says. All right, now this is really the only embellishing I'm going to do apart from those little extra stickers is some ink splatters. So I'm using the acrylic ink by Liquitex in, I want to say it's just black. No, it's called Carbon Black. So it's just the black Liquitex acrylic ink. I'm just doing some tiny splatters, and then I've brought in another brush to do some bigger swatches, as you can see there. So just splattering those in 3 places. This is kind of in the place of having 3 embellishment clusters. I'm having 3 ink splatter clusters, I suppose. So just adding some of those bigger swatches there where I feel like they look nice. And then once I've finished that, I'm going to come in with my only real actual embelly pieces for this layout, and that is going to be some of these chipboard pieces. So 2 of those circles and then 1 star. I'm going to switch out that orange one for a blue one because I realized one of the other circles was orange. So there, the 3 chipboard bits, and then the rest are going to be the tiny puffies. So I'm just going to add 2 puffies to each of those clusters to make a group of 3 in each place for my visual triangle. And that's going to be my layout finished. So actually really quite simple and quick, but it adds a lot of bang and impact on the page. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.